Hello and welcome to the Holistic Show. I'm Lloyd Bryant.
And I'm Danielle Bryant. And today we're really pleased to welcome our first guest on our show. And this is Dr Bill Seage. We're a doctor in osteomyology.
Osteomyology.
Yeah.
I also got a few other things for my sins. I sort of integrate most things. I think basically that is what I am, as an integrated therapist.
Right.
Started life originally then as a remedial master, then I went into homeopathy and herbals and nutrition, and then osteomyology, which is like a similar sort of field to osteopathy, but it encompasses all these other things that you can bring into a treatment should you need it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Right. And we're sort of focusing a little bit more today on the kinesiology side of it, aren't we? Because we're going to do a little demo later on self-muscle testing and things. And how you integrate the therapies is really, really effective, because we've had personal experience of your help, particularly my mum, who was diagnosed with spinal arthritis, and she's been in pain for so long, and then she came along to see you, and from the first session she was pain-free basically. And that's like that's 6 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, I do see people with all types of names and problems and that type of thing, but generally it comes down to a simple approach. Generally it's not very complicated. Oftentimes people will come up with these names of these diseases that they have, and I think, crumbs, what the devil is that? But invariably it'll come down to something that you think, oh, this just a simple herb will resolve that issue probably, and perhaps there's musculoskeletal misalignments which you can help with there. And by the time you've done the two things together, they just start coming back to health.
Yeah.
You know, naturally, it's not what I do so much, it's just clearing the blockages.
Allowing the body to sort of heal itself then, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
Blockages,
Yeah.
yeah. Excellent.
So is there anything that that you would say is it like a really common thing that you see?
Common thing? Well, generally, most diseases come from the digestive system, without any question about it. So no matter what a person has, whether it's diabetes, whether it's, dare I say, cancer, whatever, it'll all be coming from the tummy, the digestive system, or the gut, whatever you want to call it. So, or even sort of bronchial disorders. You know, a lot of people think, well, okay, he's got a chest problem, but it's the same mucosal lining that covers the lungs as what's in the tummy. So if there's something not right in the tummy, deal with that first, and oftentimes the body will recover itself then from people who've got these terrible problems with breathing and things, you know. So just keep an open mind, I do, and because I try to use a holistic approach, I don't try to focus on a particular issue. When somebody comes to see me, even if they've got a pain in their finger, I still look at the whole person. Sometimes it can be embarrassing for a person when they come in with a pain in their toe, and they tell me, you've got to strip down to your underwear, please. I need to have a look what's going on. But the pain in the foot can oftentimes be a problem with their neck or upper back or something. You just don't know where it's going to be.
Right, okay.
So you need to find out.
So you try to start with a blank sheet of paper then, really?
Well, to keep the people covered up as best you can. But you still need to look at the whole picture.
Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, well, that really appeals to us, because, you know, quite often we've had certain things, we've had a look at it, say, from the angle of homeopathy, and it goes a long way, but quite often we've had people come to us with a natural health shop, obviously, and they've tried something, but they've kind of hit a bit of a dead end. But obviously, because you're coming from several different angles, to do with alignment, nutrition, to do with, you know, various.
This is why over the years I've diversified, because I get people to a reasonable state, but I can't, you know, really get them right, and I think, oh well, it's a lack of knowledge here. So then you'll find, if it's of a deeper issue, I'd be thinking more of homeopathy to help with these deeper issues, like of a DNA level, where somebody might have something from in their DNA then, from their birth, they got a disposition to have this type of problem. So this is where the homeopathy would come in to find the deeper issue. You know, but then when it comes to things like digestive problems, this is more like a here and now, the way I would look at it. So I'd be thinking herbal or probably nutrition as far as vitamins, minerals are concerned. Mineral deficiency is a big one.
Yeah.
Magnesium, like we discussed earlier, you know, is get the person magnesium. It's not expensive, and if you know, as far as I know, I don't think you can overdose in it.
Right.
But yeah, so do basic things, simple things, you know. If you've got enough magnesium and B vitamins, them two alone, assuming there's nothing particularly horrid going on inside, will do a lot to get to build them up.
Right.
And get the electrolytes working then, because you need the magnesium to assimilate the Krebs cycle, which get you energy out of the bees and all this type of stuff. Not that I'm a chemist, but I'm going to understand how it works.
Yeah.
You know, so little basic things like that can make a world of difference to somebody.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
I'm very keen on testing people for things like that, and if they need them, I like to sort of put them in line to get that supplement, and it generally does them well. You generally stay in good health then, so you don't need to see much of people like me.
Doing yourself out of business.
So do you know anyone else? I mean, obviously, you know, you're in South Wales, you know, so anybody watching this show thinks, oh, you know, that sounds really good.
Well,
I'd like to see somebody like you.
Depending what the issues are, like, but I think whoever might be interested in sort of looking at a holistic approach, they need to sort of find somebody who perhaps does a bit of kinesiology as well as perhaps osteopathy or something like that. Yeah, you can get information about where practitioners would be on the Kinesiology Federation, or there'll be other kinesiology ones like the Ask. I wouldn't know the number offhand, but it'll be on the internet. I would definitely recommend therapeutic massage. You know, even if somebody can't do osteopathy, massage is primarily really a very important medium, often overlooked by a lot of chiropractors and perhaps osteopaths. Massage is really important, you know, before you do any manipulation. Otherwise, if like a chiropractor, an osteopath who doesn't soften up all the tissue first, does an adjustment, then you know the memory hasn't been taken out of the fascia, so eventually it'll start pulling back.
Right.
And so I think it's, you know, very important to find an osteopath or chiropractor who will actually work on the muscle, spend a bit of time with the person. So yeah, you can get information then about that on the Association of Osteomyologists. You'll find you know, a list of people in the different areas of the country.
Excellent.
I'm trying to think what else. With the Kinesiology Federation. Then the LCSP, then is another one that I'm associated with. The LCSP, they've got a list of practices all around the country, which can be accessed by most people. So there's three there.
Yeah.
So the Kinesiology Federation, the LCSP, and the Association of Osteomyologists.
Okay. Well, I can associate with what you say with about the massage, because you had a couple of family members who've had, you know, long-standing, well, my mother was a long-standing issue with her arm, and frozen shoulder, and you're just doing a little aromatherapy massage, worked wonders on it, and she was having it for
just like loads
a long
of muscle knots and, you know, up her arms.
and it can get so overlooked, and yet a doctor might just give painkillers, and you know, yet you can ease it so much, maybe not completely cure something, but so much ease just by a simple massage, you know.
It's the first medicine on demand, isn't it? It really is.
Of course, yeah.
And unfortunately, it's some of the last I ever used today. You know, to me, it's vital. You know, you by the time I put my hands on a person, and you can tell exactly what's going on. You know, you got an idea. All right, there's going to be a problem here, problem there, and any massage therapist would have that in their fingers, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You know, so you get used to doing it.
I think the thing that puts people off massage as a serious therapy is because it's offered so much in spas as like a pampering thing, and you know, it's difficult to have massage taken seriously, I think.
I think you're probably right there, which is a great pity.
And it's how it's been bundled together as well, like health and beauty, as if they go together, and they don't really, because to me it's kind of like opposite, you know.
Well,
Because if you're like worried about physical appearance and and beauty and makeup and things like that. It doesn't really go together with health, not deep down.
Oftentimes, you know, and I think it's quite sad when you see people spend so much money on trinkets and goodness knows what, and spend a fortune on all these type of things, but then surely the real beauty would shine if they were healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Real beauty comes from within.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, how did you get into this then, Bill? What's your sort of, how did you get into this industry?
Bit of a long story. When I was a child, my father was a therapist. He was an osteopath and a herbalist, and he had a practice in Pontypridd back in the 40s. So obviously I wasn't around then, but due to the innovation of the National Health Service, everybody thought they were going to have their treatments free, so his business didn't last for very long after that. So I've sort of grown up with this almost in-house homeopathic doctor who gives these little round pills when we were sick and stuff like that. I can't remember if they did any good or not, to be honest with you, but I'm still here. And so, you know, it's all... so I had an open mind to these type of things, rather than a lot of people who would never experience it might think, well, little sugar pill, that's not going to do any good whatsoever. And the fact that, you know, pulling you around a bit might make you feel a bit for a short while. But so I was used to that, and a bit later on in life then I suffered quite badly with tooth problems due to my own making. I used to love sherbet when I was a kid and sweets and stuff. Although we didn't have as much as children today by all intents and purposes, I was still made me pretty ill. So at the age of 24 I was crippled with rheumatoid arthritis. I was on walking sticks for a few years, mainly due to being poisoned systemically from bad dental work. My dad done the best he could to help me, but he could never really resolve the things. But then I discovered then that by reading about things and changing my diet predominantly, then started making quite a change. So that's how I got more interested in things like that. And that's when I decided then to sort of get formal training. I tried to get enrolled in chiropractic school originally, but they wouldn't accept me because I had no academia. I eventually found through good luck and fortune of a good friend of mine who was done a course with the LCSP, or the Northern Institute of Massage up in Blackpool, and they did accept me then, and that's when I started off then. So I learnt the work of remedial massage, and I started doing that, and then I did find then I could get so far with people, and obviously I need to know a lot more. And then I started diversifying. I was so lucky that I bumped into two mentors, a lady called Joan Gaisley and Chris Eady. Chris Eady's still alive. Joan has passed on a few years ago, but they were great mentors to me, and they introduced me to kinesiology. And then all I can tell you was, you know when you find something in life, it's like opening a door.
Yeah.
This was like opening the gate of a field. Suddenly I had this vast field of information I could get my hands on when it comes to people. You know, because kinesiology is amazing how we can just find these underlying things in people, you know. Because oftentimes people might come in with a problem and think, oh, I got a good idea what that is. But when you do the muscle testing, you find, no, it wasn't that after, it was something else. Or something you've never even thought of. Because you can access so much information out of the person just using not too complicated kinesiology techniques. So it's a very valuable tool. So combined with, in my opinion, you need to have the body work, there was massage work. People need generally to be realigned, and this is often the case. I would say out of every 100 people that come through the clinic, there's going to be 98 would probably have a misalignment.
Really?
So
wow.
generally that, but then you need to have the chemistry to hold it all together.
Yeah.
And to find out what the chemistry is, you need the kinesiology.
Yeah.
Unless you've got expensive equipment to do lab tests and things like that. That's another thing I don't know anything about.
So could you just explain in simple terms what kinesiology is?
Well, in simple terms, it's muscle testing, where a muscle if you find a strong muscle, generally we use the anterior deltoid, which is that muscle there. Most people got a strong one of those, so if you push down on that, and because we're of an energy nature, whereas everything affects us. You know, radiation is a thing that affects it, and you know, even like Wi-Fi will deplete our magnesium. Do you know that? And all sorts of stuff. And
well, anything that puts stress upon the body really is going to deplete
it'll
magnesium.
absorb it. So
Yeah.
there's an aura about us. You know, there's only few people can actually see it, but nevertheless, anything that comes into that energy field, we can test for by muscle testing. And anybody can do it. You haven't got to be a kinesiologist to do it, but just do basic muscle testing. Find a strong muscle, get the person to hold or put it close to them. Any substance that you're not sure of, or you want to test. If the muscle goes weak, it's detrimental. You know, if it stays strong, that means the chances are it's okay. But there's a way of finding out, which I can demonstrate quite simply.
Yeah, we'll do that. I've just finished my a diploma in kinesiology now, because I think it's because I do like a few different things, and it's good to just have that tool to tap into the body and what the body wants to heal itself and what the body wants to not to have or to have.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's just it's asking the body in a way that you couldn't ask otherwise, isn't it?
Absolutely, because it's an unconscious mind. It's unconscious. Of course, the unconscious mind knows everything that's going on in your system if you only tap into it.
Yeah.
You know. That's why I studied hypnosis. I got a diploma in that as well. But I've never done it, so I'm no good at it. But, I'd like to send the grandchildren to sleep sometimes. But logically, if you could access the unconscious mind, perhaps hypnosis might be a good thing, because it's a fantastic tool for the people who know how to use it. But you know, apart from that, muscle testing is far more demonstrative, and it works. It just works.
So what is your opinion on self-testing? Because I've seen quite a few like tutorials and things online about the self-testing where you do like this sort of thing. And
that's doable. Personally, I'm not good at it.
I found it very subtle.
Found it really, yeah,
it's quite subtle. I'm afraid I'm not very subtle.
And the other thing I found is I'm worried that my beliefs would you know, because it's like if you believe that you shouldn't, say, be eating wheat, and then you ask, should I be eating wheat? Could you even influence it by your beliefs?
I think you can.
But if somebody else is doing it, it's impartial. You can't really influence it then. You can do blind testing, can't you?
That again can be another thing. This is why then things start getting a little bit more complicated. This is why then you need to perhaps see or be aware of or have some training in kinesiology, because say for instance sugar. Now sugar is, to my way of thinking, is probably the biggest issue in our environment. You know, it causes so much disease.
And then when you cut it out and put artificial sweeteners in the way, they're even bigger, well, you know, just as much of a problem.
I think so. I think they are. But you can, if a person was addicted to the sugar, they could become hypertonic to it. So therefore, you could actually get them to hold on to sugar, and they become enormously strong.
Really?
Because there's a protective nature there, like holding on to it.
Oh.
So there is an issue like that. But then you're talking about perhaps people then who are not enjoying the best type of health.
So if you were to test a toxic substance on somebody that you know that is not good for them, and yet they're strong, how would
they become hypertonic to it for some reason?
So what would you do in that case?
You'd need to, well, there's a few ways you can do it, kinesiology-wise. It's starting to get a little bit more complicated.
Right, okay.
But yeah, it is doable.
But
you can sort of tap different acupuncture points. You know,
Right.
depends where the problem is. You need to find, we've got 14 energy systems in the body, and the hypertonicity will be on one of those energy systems. For every yin, there's a yang. So when you've got a weak muscle, there's going to be a strong one. So if you could be working on the hypertonic muscle and thinking, crumbs, oh, this person's okay here, if you know what I mean. So you might need to tap tap acupuncture points or find some way of negating that issue.
Right.
You can do it with colour as well. You could actually put colour acetates over a person. This would actually bring out the hypertonic meridian, so to make it bring in the open.
Right.
Because
Okay.
refracted light has a distinct energy source,
Yeah.
or it'll stop an energy source by different colours. So we're all different body types as well. So
It's sort of filtering out certain vibrations, isn't it, effectively?
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's little things, tools you can use. Then, if a person, you can't make head or tail of what's going on. Oftentimes when that happens, when we're trying to just do a simple muscle test, there's generally a heavy metal overload in the system, which causes all these neurological messages in the body to give poor results. You know, you think, I'm not getting anywhere with this person.
Yeah.
What's going on? Invariably, it'll be like a heavy metal overload then in the system. You know. I'm not talking about music. Talking, mercury would be favourite.
Yeah.
Or cadmium if they're smoking a lot. Things like that. There could be a build-up in the system,
Right.
which then could cause these things. So you might need to address that first.
Okay.
Some probably in the course of a year. Then when I treat people I see, I don't really know. But perhaps it comes up about half a dozen times a year. I'll get this, it comes, working the person, and I'm not making head or tail of this. Let's just check for heavy metals.
Okay. So this is.
And that's another simple test which I could show you. So anybody could do that test quite simply.
Right.
Obviously, it's not going to tell them what heavy metal is involved, but if there's a metal involved, that needs to be.
I might save a few quid on people getting hair tests.
Yeah.
Just because they're worried about.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if there's a metal involvement, the first thing that person needs is therapeutic minerals. Magnesium again. So magnesium is the most used mineral, and as you know, it's vital to all these functions. Obviously, other minerals are essential as well, but predominantly
Magnesium has
the
been
most
known as the
used
master
one.
mineral, though, hasn't it?
Right.
Magnesium has been known as the master mineral, some call it.
Absolutely, we use so
Yeah.
much of it
Yeah.
in our daily life, and of course, ever increasing toxicity in our environment needs more magnesium. We'll have to go swim in the Dead Sea.
Yeah. One way I've used kinesiology is I've been doing a lot of EFT, emotional freedom technique.
That's another great tool
Yeah.
to give to people, isn't it?
And-
with the EFT, through my experience, the more in the moment you are, the better
Yeah,
it works.
yeah.
So
So it was after I'd done the EFT, I wanted to assess if that issue was still an issue.
yes.
And then if I stayed
That's
strong
good,
when
yeah.
I thought of this situation, if I stayed strong, then I was okay. So I didn't have to rely on the feeling of my emotions. I could, it was more like it's happening into my unconscious with the muscle testing,
Right.
So I used it in
Well,
that way.
the thing
It was
is,
a bit of an experiment.
the beauty of kinesiology is there's no beginning or end to it. Every day we sort of, there's techniques that I've developed myself, which I'd love to share with people. So I think they're very important. As far as I know, nobody else does them. And I use these quite regularly on a daily basis, more or less. So you can expand off anything that you find in kinesiology. If you think like you just done there now, well, when does this will work? Well, try it. If it works,
Yeah.
adopt
You know what, I also did it because we went to a dog festival, Tibetan Terrier Festival recently.
All right.
And I tried it with our dogs, and you sit the dog on your lap and you're using yourself as a surrogate.
Right.
So I was like hold the food that they're eating, for example, and then if that person is like focused on their dog, then you can test to see if that food is good for them or not.
So you had the person hold the dog?
Yeah,
Well, that's okay.
yeah.
Well, as long as they're holding the dog, they're in
in the
in
They are.
yeah.
conduit. Yeah.
And then focusing on the dog as well. So the intention is that they're testing
It doesn't
for the
matter.
dog, I suppose.
It
Yeah,
wouldn't really matter. As long as they're in contact, it'll work.
yeah.
Yeah, you can do that about 10 people down the line if you like.
Ah.
It's quite a good one to demonstrate, actually.
Ah, excellent.
We'll do a small demonstration here. Now this was, I learned this of an American kinesiologist. His name was John Anderson, and this is one that he put together. So if you want to find out whether a substance is good, bad or indifferent, this is a simple one you can do. So if we get something that we know should be not very good for us, so we get a strong indicator muscle, hold the arm strong. you test the muscle, and this could be done in a supermarket. Say you want to find out, is a bit of fruit good for me, or is it got pesticide residue on it or something, that if it changes, the chance are it has. So anyway, we'll get domestos, oh well, bleach I should say.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold the arm strong, resist against me. It should go weak, you know, because it's pretty toxic stuff. But if you hold it away from the body is saying, oh please take it away, hold the arm strong, and the muscle now goes strong. So that verifies that that is not good. So if it's on the body, it goes weak, it's bad. If you put it away, it goes strong, it's very bad. You know, so right, so we've got something that we got a pair. Okay, hold it here, resist against me. So we got a nice strong muscle there. Now hold it away from the body and hold it strong. And it stayed strong. So this means it's neither good nor bad. It's okay. You know, it's not gonna harm you for that.
Right. Okay.
So just like obviously the
Yeah,
bleach,
I'm a
the
bit like
bleach
this with
will
bleach.
harm you.
Yeah.
So this is you're quite happy to eat that, but you can't say it's not a medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be good. This then is
Sugar.
Sugar. Right. Okay. Hold the arm strong, resist against me. Generally, sugar should go weak, but sometimes if a person is diabetic, somebody like that, the chances are they're the ones who are going to stay strong. You know, and if you hold this away again, hold it strong, then it should go strong again. So we know that's bad. Now this one is
Goji berries.
goji berries. So
They're
this should be
stuck
very good for us, shouldn't it? Hold the arm strong. So that's strong, and hold it away, and it's going weak. So this is telling us this is very good. So this is therapeutic. So this is very good for us. And likewise with magnesium, I would assume, hold the arm strong. You'll have a strong muscle because the body's saying I like this, and now it's saying don't take it away, I want it. So that's a nice simple one that anyone can. You haven't got to be a kinesiologist. Just use those simple muscle tests for that.
Great.
And is there something else you wanted to look at? Or demonstrate?
You mentioned about a test for heavy metals.
The test for heavy metals. If somebody got a metal overload, any muscle that crosses the midline will turn off. Okay, so if you get a muscle here, this muscle then is the anterior deltoid here, or the pectoralis clavicular, I should say.
Sorry, just 1 second.
So if you face the camera there, give us an idea. Okay, so if we get any muscle that crosses the midlines, okay, so hold it here, I'm going to push it that way, resist against me, hold it, it should be strong. You take the same muscle over the midline and hold it strong, resist against me, it stayed strong. So that's a basic test for metals. If that muscle went weak, the chances are there's a heavy metal overload in the system.
Right.
So you need to be thinking then, therapeutic herbs or minerals, particularly minerals. You know,
Try me with that one.
anything chelating minerals.
Don't try me with that one.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So let's just establish a strong indicator muscle first. Hold it strong, just against me. Good. And again, hold it strong. It should go. Right. So if you hold the muscle here, I'm going to push it this way, resist against me. This should be strong. Bring it across the midline and hold it strong. And it has gone a bit weaker. So yes, you have got a bit of a metal issue. Just out of curiosity, we'll do the same test again. Okay. Hold the arm here, resist against me. I'm just going to take it here. I want you to hold on to that. And again, hold it strong. So, yes, the magnesium is going to be helpful. I wouldn't say it's a complete remedy, but because I think you need some zinc in there as well, perhaps looking at the minerals. But the magnesium certainly will help with the metal overload there. Yeah, so it's nice and simple.
Okay.
Run the bath.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done that. We've done that to death.
We've done the magnesium to death. It comes up every time.
Yeah, it is. But of course, then you can start to be looking, is that all the person needs? Is there other things you can look at? But I think that's something that most people could do, isn't it? Get that muscle there, push it out,
Yeah.
across the midline. If it goes weak, there's an issue.
And I suppose, the same thing with allergies. You can just bring different foods. If you've got like wheat or something like that, if it makes your body go wrong or go weak, then you could be intolerant or allergic to it. Yeah. well, maybe probably not allergic, probably intolerant.
Intolerant?
Yeah.
Yes. Through my experience with people with lots of allergies, there's usually something of a deeper level going on
Yeah,
in their
yeah,
gut,
yeah.
candida, parasites,
Yeah.
or bacteria issue there, and you clear them up and virtually the allergies usually melt away, or you might just have to have a couple to pick off using homeopathy then.
That's a lovely little just people to try for themselves,
Yeah, so
on a basic level, and then we'll just start off the investigation, I think.
Well, yeah,
If people are taking like a load of supplements, because we've had people taking like 12 supplements.
Oh, easy.
That come into us,
And they're still not well.
And they're still not well. And I say, well, actually, you could be overdoing it. You could be stressing your body. If you're giving your body what it doesn't need, it still has to. It's like over processing and stressing with over processing. And some people, they might only need one or two things, and yet they've read that, oh, this is good for me for this, I'll take that. Oh, this is good for this, I'll take that. And they're just compounding and compounding more and more stress on the body.
And it costs them a fortune.
And it's costing them a fortune. So this way they can test what they're taking and see what they actually do need.
Absolutely, it's simple. Yeah, it's a nice simple one.
Yeah.
So give that the world and see how it goes.
Okay. Well, thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.
For coming on. It's been really, really
hopefully I'll see you at the health show if I can make that. I'll come and talk over to sleep again.
Thank you so much, Bill.
You're welcome.
Very much.
First time I've ever been a film star.
Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again soon.
Right.